And it is necessary for those people who rule over us and who rule over African people the world over, if those people are to stay in power, they must destroy our ability to love each other in a healthy sort of way. This is why...
Welcome back, everybody. This is Brian H. Rabbi Williams. This is the End of the Bench Media. This is a program called God is Community, where we talk about the empowerment of our community and the improvement of our community. We're going to talk about people who have struggled, who are part of the struggle, who have in the struggle. Speaking of the struggle, today is a mentor, a mother, a daughter, a sister, an aunt, a community pillar, one of the queens of what we call the Soul Coast here in Chicago, the Lower North Side. She is the keeper of a legacy. She's here to talk about her life, her mother's life, and a community that a lot of people in Chicago overlook. And it's one of the more pivotal and a seminal community in Chicago, Illinois. Guana Stamp is a person who has mentored people. She's put people in play and in positions of power. She is a true leader and the dictionary definition of Black excellence. Thank you for sharing your time and your story with us this evening. How are you doing this evening?
Good evening. That was quite the introduction. Thank you. Just one mistake. My name is pronounced Guana.
Guana. I'm sorry.
And I go by Miss Stamps now.
Miss Stamps. Okay. I love it. I love it. I love it. You are part of a family that is stoked in the legacy of Chicago. And I want to introduce you. Will be in the rebranding of my program. You are the inaugural guest. I've had people on here tell their stories, some celebrities. Now I want people from the community. See, because it's easy to grow. It's not, everyone is not going to grow to be 7 feet tall and be an NBA or NFL player or a rapper or anything of that nature. But you are a person of legacy. Your mother played a pivotal part in the development of our community. You played a pivotal part in our community. And I want people to understand who you are, what you've accomplished, and what role you play in our community nationwide. Your family is a national family. And again, one of the legs at the table that we always speak about. You holding things, you and your family have held things up. So I want you to tell your story and tell the legacy of your mom, who played a gigantic role in the development of our community on the Lower North Side in Chicago.
I'll start with the legacy.
Okay.
When I look back at my life and I realize how blessed I am to be the daughter of the great Marion Queen Nzinga Stamps. It is truly an honor, and it's some real big shoes that we have to fill that I know I would never be able to fill. And the legacy has been so embedded in us before that as we begin to live it and envision it and execute it through our eyes, it's like, whoa, this work will never get done in our lifetime, but we will make a contribution to it. Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. That's exactly what I'm here to show people, that the work never stops. There's no such thing as, oh, it's cool now, we're gonna be okay. There is no we're gonna be okay. Either we're gonna keep working or we will continue to struggle. So thank you for saying that. Please continue.
My mama always said, if you dare to struggle, you dare to win. If you don't dare to struggle, you don't deserve to win. And Black Jesus say, because see, I serve a mighty God, and I reference him to, as Black Jesus said, where there's no struggle, there's no testimony. So as we were growing up, we were taught life ain't about, yay, we happy and all this old good stuff. Life is about having to struggle or learning to struggle, having to work and build character. And put back in your community what your community gave you. And one thing about the near north side of Chicago, it has given my mother and her daughters the best village we could have ever grew up in. When I tell you, from the time I lived in 1230 North Burley, the White Projects, that is where I learned about taking care of where you live. It was, I learned about being safe where you lived. Cabrini Green, back in my mama moved there in 62. We didn't move out until 71. And I'm talking about, she took me from Cook County Hospital to 1230 North Burley. I learned how not to walk on the grass because you would get in trouble, and your mama get a fine, and you gonna get a whooping because you shouldn't have been on that grass. So I learned how not to walk on the grass. I learned how people in your community cared about you, and they made sure when you was on your way to school, from school to the store, from the store, just outside being a kid, a child, you were safe. Everybody looked at, if you fell, your mama didn't have to run downstairs, oh my baby, because see, Miss Smith was already downstairs watching us in the first place. I learned in the village about respect. My mama said, you better not never walk in front of an elder or make her feel he or she has to run from you. They are to run to you. So I grew up, you didn't cuss in front of your elders. If you was being fast or a fast little girl or a mischievous little boy, soon as you seen Miss Jones, you got some act right real quick. Because even if your mama didn't see you, Miss Jones gonna tell her, but before Miss Jones tell her, she gonna check you. She gonna snatch you up real quick. And in the village, that's what we did. We took care, we were taken care of in the village. There's a family from that village that I'm still close to now. His mama had, like, I think it was 14 children. And I remember when my mom was out there on the picket line, and if she landed down there at the 18th district, this family was coming to get my mother's children. And his mother always had enough food for me and my two siblings at the time. It was three of us at the time. So the community, the village has really nurtured us. That's my childhood. My teenage years, when I decided that myself and one of my older sisters, we gonna be Black Peace Stone Love, right? My mom said, oh, okay. And she came home one day, and my sister was having a meeting, and my mama said, y'all some stinking ass little girls. So she said, and y'all look like y'all having a gang meeting. I'm about 13, 14. So my sister said, we not having no gang meeting. These just our friends. She said, oh, okay, but this what I'm tell y'all. Make sure you stay in school, because one of them niggas gonna need a lawyer. Make sure you stay in school, because one of them niggas gonna need a doctor. Make sure you stay in school, because if you make the decision that you want to be a part of what was then an organization, it was like, what do you have to offer that organization? And don't be on the side of the destruction of the organization, but the building of the organization. Then what happened? She in the gang too. Well, damn, we can't even be gang members. Because everything we desired, whatever it was, my mama supported us. whatever it was. But she instilled in us that the real gain is the power in the people, if that makes sense.
Makes perfect sense. Unity it trumps all. Nothing can supersede unity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what all through our childhood, we were taught to always be a part of the problem, be a part of the solution. I'm sorry, you cannot be the problem. Now, I'm not saying we grew up these little girls that didn't get in trouble. I just told you two of us was gang members, and my mother barred none. Oh, that's what we doing? Okay. But she allowed us to be who we were, but she made sure that we were being shown. You don't walk up in your mama house at no 12 o'clock when your curfew 10 o'clock, because you're going to get smashed coming to Stamp's house late. You don't cut school just to go hang out to do nothing. You don't, because if I find out, I'm going to deal with you. And so I say that to say we gave her share of trials, but we knew to come to the line, but not cross it. And I'm sorry, go ahead.
Before we proceed, I want you to introduce these to my audience to your mother. Your mother played, as I stated in the intro, your mother played a pivotal role in the development of our community. This is a community that had their own grocery store, their own entertainment centers, their own youth centers. Your mother opened a youth center. Your mother created a safe zone for young people and adults for the entire near north side called Old Town / so as we affectionately call it, the Soul Coast. Please explain to them who your mother is.
Okay, my mother is Marion Queen and Zinga Stamps. She was a pioneer for the state of Illinois, the city of Chicago, the near north side of Chicago. My mother worked for the empowerment of Black people, empower them in education, empower them in healthcare, empower them in employment, empower them in self-development. My mother had the only Black alternative state accredited high school right there on the near north side of Chicago. I'm a product of the Lumumba Jackson Community Learning Center. I have a high school diploma, state accredited. She not only brought the school to the community, my mother is the reason why right now today, any resident that lived in Cabrini before the gentrification is able to live there now, because that was her last fight. The housing, the displacement of people in general, Cabrini in particular. She fought real hard for them not to displace those people, and they're not. If they don't live there, that was their choice. It wasn't because she didn't make sure they couldn't. My mother orchestrated the first and only gang peace treaty that went throughout this country. And you are absolutely correct. It didn't matter if you was a Vice Lord, Blackstone, Cobra Stone, Latin King, Gangster Disciple. Once you got to Clybourne and Division, everybody knew we are one family, one nation, united in peace. That's where they got it from. It started right there at 440 West Division. That united in peace started right there with all the signs that when you see they drawing, and you see where their logo, and you see all the gangs, and then it's the pyramid. All of that united in peace started right there at Tranquility Memorial Community Organization.
Please give him a little background on Tranquility, because as a young person, it was insanely dangerous in our neighborhood. If you were before your mother put her footprint in the neighborhood, it was you couldn't go to this place, you couldn't dress this way, you couldn't go to see certain friends and things of that nature. Please explain to the people the impact, how your mother did that, and the impact it had on a community that was nationally known for violence.
Tranquility was the safe haven for the near north side of Chicago. We had every single program you thought you needed and wanted. Example, everybody, I'll say at least 90% of the children on the near north side of Chicago got their very first summer job from my mother at Tranquility.
Yes.
Tranquility is where the high school was located, and along with the high school, the city colleges of Chicago came as the secondary. That's how I got my degree from Malcolm, because of the secondary education that was also in there. When the young people who was transitioning out of their parents' house, they came over to Tranquility so my mama could help them get them an apartment in the Chicago Housing Authority. We had fun at Tranquility. We were allowed to be children at Tranquility. Every year, my mother would block from Clybourne in Division all the way to Clybourne and Larrabee. It's blocked off for Survival Day. And she would celebrate the fact that we haven't lost 100 Black men. We haven't lost 50 sisters with children. They homeless now because they don't have anything anywhere to live. So Survival Day was a big deal in our community. Tranquility, whatever you wanted to do, martial arts, double dutch team. The first time I was on a drill team, in a double dutch team, it was right there at Tranquility. I learned the basics of martial arts right there at Tranquility. I learned how to handle conflict resolution at Tranquility. We would have these youth groups, and they'll come in and we'll sit down and talk about what's going on in the community. Let's talk about the problem. Well, they snatching these old women purses. What's the solution? My mama told them brothers, y'all better make sure not near another elder purse gets snatched. Oh, well, he came over here all in my face talking tough. Okay, so it's called freedom of speech. But as men, you all should be able to talk to each other and resolve y'all differences. You understand? So we was taught conflict resolution. We was taught it was our responsibility as the next generation to build that community and to be positive, productive young people. When I was growing up, I didn't worry about getting shot. I didn't worry about that. I didn't worry about trying to get from home to the store. I didn't worry about that, because the community I grew up in, they loved and protected women and children. And I remember my mother telling those brothers, y'all the ones out here creating all this mess. So if y'all gonna fight amongst each other, you keep these sisters and these babies and these elders out of it. But whatever you wanted to do, if you needed legal assistance, you came to Tranquility, because Tranquility had a program that taught you. The very first time I was taught what to do when the police stopped me was at Tranquility. You don't tell them nothing. You ain't even got to tell them your name. You say, I would like to call my attorney. That's where legal aid came from. It was born from tranquility under the leadership of the late James Chapman, my mother's attorney. Anything you wanted, you needed some food, you came to Tranquility. My mother, when Sammy's first, when the Arabics bought Sammy's, it was a real dark one in there. His name was Joe. He was real dark, and he had real jet black hair.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things about community is we all have to pitch in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We all have to in. So when the Arabics bought Sammy's, my mother went down there. Joe wasn't in there. And she told the Arabic that was working, she wanted a Polish and she wasn't gonna pay for it. And he asked her, he said to her, well, you're not gonna get it. And she said, yes, I am. I'm paraphrasing how this went. But anyway, she told him, if you don't give me this Polish that I'm not gonna pay for, I'm gonna shut this MF down. You ain't making no more money today. I'm standing there with her. I'm about 17, 18, just got out of school. Because you remember I went to her school. Mm-hmm. So I guess he thought she was playing. Everybody, and you know, Sammy's was popping. Everybody that came to Sammy's, all she did was say, don't go in there. I'm boycotting them today. And she shut them down for about 2 hours. And she went back. The man came out there. You can't stop my customers from coming in here. She said, but I did. And you tell whoever owned this MF, my name is Marion Stamps, and he need to come talk to me down here at my office, 440 West Division. And he only got until tomorrow morning to do it. Okay. So as I'm moving on through the day, and I finally get to her, and we sit down because I was very close to my mother. And I was asking her what's going on, she said, yeah, I met the owner of Sammy's. I said, oh, okay. I said, how did that go? I said, I just let them know if you a part of this community, you're going to contribute to this community. Again, I'm paraphrasing. Mm-hmm. Long story short, when it came to Survivor Day of that year, and every year after, Joe made sure we had beef Polishes, beef hot dogs, buns, hamburgers with the buns. And I say all that to say that's how my mama built community. You're not just gonna come in this community and think you don't have to contribute. Because I remember going to Terry's with a note. Mm-hmm. Didn't have no money. I had a note. And Terry never denied that note. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. And when it was time to go pay Terry, I remember taking the food stamp book when they was purple, green, orange, and brown.
Yeah, I remember that.
To go pay Terry from the note. All I knew was to take the $50 book and go to Terry's. Cool. Okay? Jerry fed us like we was his children. Not just my mama daughters, the community. You could go on Jerry's and tell
Big T mama, I can't remember her name.
You know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. Not just Big T mama, but Garvette mama too. Miss not Miss Bell. Anyway, you could go tell Miss Laura. Mm-hmm. Tell Miss Laura and the other lady that working there, we hungry. What, we getting some French fries or something? Mm-hmm. Okay, Farmer Brown fed us. You understand what I'm saying? And it was because they understood community, the village. We have to take care of the village. Okay? And my mama had relationships with all of those people, but my mama wasn't about just getting for us.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, we was the sacrificial lambs. The older I get is how I start looking at it, because she always took care of the people first. And she always said it's about the people first.
And one of the things that was most impressive about your mother, I can even remember times in which your mom, I remember this one instance which knocked me on my heels. I was about 16, 17 years old. So we talking about 85, 86, and they started to redevelop, or they call it gentrification now. And as they were redeveloping, your mother went to the construction site and literally with her mouth shut down an entire construction site and said it ain't enough black people working here, and shut it down. 2 weeks later, it was a bunch of people from the neighborhood working there. These are the kind of things that partially, along with my parents, inspired me to do what I do, because your mother, like what people always say, back in the day, as if they're speaking about the 40s, 50s, and 60s. These are things that me and you saw happening in the late 70s. You saw it in the late 70s. I saw it in the 80s, throughout the entire 80s, because I remember your mom walking down the street and people part like the Red Sea, the toughest, the baddest, the gang bangingest. And it was everybody walked with respect, and she demanded respect. I remember once when Mr. White, at the time he was our alderman, used to take children to the circus. I signed up too late, and your mother said he gone. Your mother didn't even know me. I was new to the neighborhood. She was like, he gone. Why is he standing here? Mr. White put me on the bus. Nothing else to talk about. And these are the things. This is why I want to celebrate your mom. This is why I want to celebrate people in our community and the entire community, border coast to coast, because they're, not to minimize your mother's effect on our community, but there are millions of Marion Stamps in the world. We need to celebrate them, not just your mom, but I definitely want to celebrate your mom, because I remember the impact. I remember being able to go, like Terry's. You mentioned Terry's, which was our neighborhood grocery store, black owned. Jerry's, which was our neighborhood restaurant, he had a sit down restaurant and a fast food version. None of us were ever hungry in that neighborhood under any circumstances. Those ladies knew us and they took care of us. And the owner, Jerry, never said one word. Please expound on that.
When you talk about the other Marion Stamps, you are absolutely correct. It's a lot of her, but she got 5 of her own, and every last one of us got her in us. And I mean, you would say me more so than the others, but that's not to take from them. When my mama, her presence alone said love, truth, peace, freedom, and just us. My mama came under the leadership of Dr. Fred Hampton in the Black Panther Party. She walked with Dr. King when he came to Chicago. She took Jesse Jackson to the blacktop over in the white projects. My mother, her love for Black people was real. It was strong. It was intoxicating, because all she wanted was for her people to be free. Free means a multitude of things. Her job to fight for the freedom of Black people was to make sure we had good schools. Ferguson opened because of my mother, the Child Parent Center. You not gonna just send these children to school. They parent got to be in there with them. Well, why I got to sit in there with them? Because that's your child. And it's not just the responsibility of the teacher to teach your child. We had Manil Manil could compete with Franklin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay? They say Franklin was for them and Manil was for us. And boy, the product that came up out of Manil, Jenna, Bird.
Bird.
Okay? The products that came up out of there, and it was because my mother's voice echoed through that
Mm-hmm.
community. People knew when she spoke. One, she spoke with facts. Two, she spoke out of love. She spoke with a mission. She spoke with a purpose. She wasn't just talking to be talking loud, saying, no, 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 no. I was 18 when I got into that dirty game they call politics.
Mm-hmm.
My mama taught me how to do petition circulation for the late Honorable Harold Washington.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My mother was very instrumental
Your mother was at the podium at the end
in
after
getting,
he won.
okay, huh?
You say your mother was at the podium the night that he won.
Yes, sir. She absolutely was. She brought him to Cabrini Green. When they were sitting at the table trying to decide, yeah or nay, she said she told him, look, either you is or you ain't, because we ain't got time to keep playing this game. Woo! When I tell you some of the meetings I've sat in with her,
Mm-hmm.
and I used to sit there and say, I'm gonna be just like her, I swear. I'm gonna be just like her. And she'll ask us, what you wanna be when you grow up? I'm gonna be just like you, Mary Stamp, and I know how to cuss. Just like her. and that has been my life, to be just like Marion Stamps. My mother brought the first drug intervention, Al-Anon, to the near north side of Chicago, right there at Tranquility.
Mm-hmm.
But as you know, as it go, when that money get to dangling, people get lost and confused.
Mm-hmm.
And then things get to shifting, and it don't always shift the way it should. But that's okay. Because, see, a lot of them were able to recover
Mm-hmm.
or are recovering from that illness of drug addiction.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of them. And whenever they decide they want to talk about, I cheerfully remind them how all that started at Tranquility before it made it to Sewell Park. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we lost our mother very young. My mother was only 51 when she left here, 30 years this year. And it's still a very, very, very bitter pill to swallow.
Mm-hmm.
But I've learned, and as well as my siblings, to live with it. We can't change it, can't bring her back, but we sure can continue her work through our eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And when she transitioned, I took over a 30-something-year-old organization. That organization actually was 40, because I was only 31 when she passed. 40-year organization. I'm the boss.
You know what? Let's talk about that. How difficult was that, stepping in someone's feet or stepping on someone's shoes who has such a tremendous impact in a community that, I love our community, but our community is lost in the sauce. Everybody's familiar with the north side, west side. Everybody's familiar with the south side. All the, K-Town, the Holy City. You talk about what they call the low end, and all these neighborhoods in our city. But I would say our community is one of the most rich and empowering communities in the city of Chicago. We're stoked in history, and we have dozens and dozens of wonderful people. And now you're left as a 30-year-old person, a 30-year-old mother at that, and now you're left to run this. How difficult was that?
Well, we buried my mother September the 4th, 1996. We had already did all the planning, the preparations and everything for Survivor Day, which was going to be that Saturday, the 7th. So everybody kept saying, y'all gonna do Survivor Day, y'all gonna do Survivor Day. And I was like, yeah, we doing Survivor Day. Yeah, we doing it. So the community, the way they came out for her homegoing celebration, they came out that Saturday. And we did Survivor, all of my siblings, we all did it. And I said then, because I was next in line to take over the organization anyway. She had trained, she trained me. And I said to the people then, I am not Marion Stamps. I'm only a product of her. My commitment to her work is to the elders, the children, and the young people, the youth. I have a 15-year-old son at the time. So anything between that, you on your own. Because I remember everybody coming to Miss Stamps, can you buy my baby some Pampers? Miss Stamps, can you buy me some food? Miss Stamps, Miss Stamps, Miss Stamps. No, 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 no. I am not Miss Stamps. I am now, but I wasn't then. And it was only my vision. It was her vision, but I could only execute it through my eyes. And I made a commitment to the elders, the children, and the youth. It was very difficult. It took me 2 years just to wrap my head around the fact I'm a motherless child. It took me 2 years to accept that. And when I tell you about our ancestors and the Holy Spirit, it didn't matter how difficult it was. Boy, them ancestors picked me up for 2 years to make me move the way I needed to move. And when I accepted my reality, I came back with a vengeance. I ran my mama organization for 10 years, very successful. I was always a part of the Nino development, youth development. I was always, I sat on all the youth boards, the youth board at Lower North Center, the youth board at Tranquility, the youth board at the Alcott Youth Foundation, the youth board at D'Amico Youth Center. You hear me? I sat on those boards. Northtown Community Development, I sat on those boards. I was the representative, one of the representatives of the youth. So I already knew what it was that needed to be done. My mama had an after-school program. Part of the after-school program, the babies got to eat before we get to doing homework. Okay? She always had well-educated Black people running that after young people, young adults. They wasn't like, they was like in their early 20s, maybe their 30s, running those programs. Collaboration was real. You could not talk about you a part of the Near North family and you don't collaborate with nobody. That's not how that went. And the blessing for me, my mother in Africa, when the mother knows she's sick, has any kind of internal illness, She chooses what she calls a Nandi, Nandi. Nandi picks up where that mother left off. She does not replace or try to take the place of the mother. But Nandi gonna hold you down like your mother. My Nandi was the late Dr. Connie Van Brunt, who ran Cycle Youth Center.
Okay.
My mother told Connie, you take care of all my babies. She just didn't know that it was 300 and something of them at the time. Cycle had went all the way down. They was getting ready to close. My mother was the savior because her and Connie had their relationship formed with the Black Panther Party. He was in Oakland. My mother was in Chicago. Okay. So when I finally came to the realization of what my life was, I merged with Cycle. I changed the name of Tranquility from Tranquility to the Marion and Zinga Stamps Youth Center. And then we had Cycle. Dr. Van Brunt said, Miss Guana, she was so good to us. On every single level, she was good to us. And she said, when my mother chose her, my mother told her, Connie, take care of my daughters, look after my daughters, especially Guana. And she did just that. So when those organizations merged into one space, I kept my own office space, but I ran my programs out of her facility because it was much bigger. And then before it was all over, we was right there on Division and hosted in that big old factory building. Said, Miss Guana, my job is to get us finance. My job is to get the money. Your job is to hire, fire, and run the programs. And we had 300 babies, 300 plus babies out of Cabrini, out of my Town and Gardens, out of the Orange Doors, out of the Brown Buildings, off of North Avenue, going down over there. What's those two streets over there off of Evergreen, where Immaculate Conception at, where they thought they was better than us at?
North Park and Wheeling.
Come on. And before it was all over and done with, Walter Barnett's son, who is the alderman now, came through there too. When I tell you, we taught those children the geometric system in kindergarten. They started learning French in kindergarten. They started building robots in kindergarten. I said all that to say what they call STEM today. In 1998, children from Cabrini Green was already doing it. Okay. And I did that for 10 years because I only committed 10 years. Those 10, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say I wanted to commend you for that, because one of the people that came out of those programs and one of the representatives of your mother in a roundabout way is former State's Attorney Kim Fox. She comes from our state, our community, and there have been naval officers come from Cabrini Green. There have been several people who benefited from the hard work and dedication that your family has extended, even as far as your sister Justice. She was an educator for both my children. So that's what I just want to let people know. the reason we are here tonight is not only to celebrate you and your family, but to let people know that, you know, one of the things that bothers me on a regular basis is this trope that we don't help each other. We never do this and we never do that. I've experienced it, I've seen it, I've witnessed it, and I've been a part of it. And that's why I have you on tonight, to celebrate you, your family, and especially your mother. Please continue.
You know, when people say, boy, our people, I say they ain't talking about my people.
Exactly.
They ain't talking about my people, because I'm real clear that there's a difference in African Americans, niggers, Niggers, Niggas, and black people.
Mm-hmm.
I fall in the category of a black person in a Nigga. Never getting goals accomplished. And now I'm not an African American. My birth certificate say I'm black. I'm a black woman of African descent. So I don't think like them. I don't look like them. I don't act like them. I don't move like them.
You know what? Expound on that. I want you to expound on that to let people know how important it is to establish culture, to establish a foundation of who you are. You know, like when we were young, that organization I Am was a big thing. And,
Mm-hmm.
and I want you to expound on that so people understand where you're coming from, because a lot of people hear these things and they just brush them off as nothing. But when you establish something, you establish culture, you establish who and what you are, and that creates a foundation that you can build upon so we can create more Marion stamps. Please expound.
So my name, we'll start with me. My mom used to say you different. Because, you know, I wanted to be loud. I wanted to be, you know, aggressive. You can't act like that. Why? Even though I did anyway. Because you're different. Well, what makes me different? Your name. Start with your name. I just be like, what? That don't even make sense. Every time I would do something out of order, she would say, you're different. You know you're different. And I would say, well, what made me so different? She say, start with your name. My mother raised us from a very Afrocentric perspective. And once she instilled in us as being descendants of Africa, meaning she raised us like princesses for real.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
We marched to a beat of respect. We marched to a beat of being black and proud. We marched to a beat that I am the chosen one. That's how we was raised. When you talk about culture, in our house, you prayed. In our house, you sat down together. It didn't matter what time my mama came home. If my mama came home at 12 o'clock at night, I could guarantee you by 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, we all sitting together talking about what was going on in the world with us. Mm. Because it was important that you had relationships with your children. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Being descendants of Africa and knowing that you are the chosen one, you could not look and act a certain kind of way. Mm. We didn't wear backouts and booty shorts until we left her house. And if she seen us driving down the street, she'll call us a name. You left home to look like, late. Damn. You understand what I'm saying? Because we had, everybody is looking at us as examples. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. For leadership. Me and my sisters couldn't be outside doing all that hooping, hollering, cussing, and woo. We did it when we left her house. But if she pulled up on us and seen us doing it, she would say, oh, you left home to do that? Oh, Stamps, you know, come on now. We don't even live there. You know, we grown now. But it was about having a status, having having integrity, having self-love, having self-respect, having self-dignity. She taught us that. So, and she allowed us to be who we were at the same time. Because my mother knew nothing about Tupac Shakur. And here I come down the street, I'm bumping, me against the world, baby, you know, whatever it is. And she would say, why is you listen to all that gangster rap? That ain't no gangster rap. This brother speaking the truth. He the product of a revolutionary. Who the revolutionary? And when I told her Infinity Shakur was Tupac mama, she said, I done sat in meetings with that sister. Wow. I said, Mama, listen to his music. His music is about empowering the children of revolutionaries. But the other people said they hoodlums, they destructive. No, we not. No, we not. And anytime I see people say, oh, them thugs, I get offended by it. Baby, I'm a thug. And I'm about the empowerment of Black people. When they did the game peace treaty conference in Chicago the year she died. I couldn't go to the conference because I was at another conference. Suge Knight, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre was at that conference. That conference was in August. Right here at what's the city college? I live right by the city college on 103rd. Which one is that?
Oliver Harvey.
Oliver Harvey. That's where that conference was at in 1996. Now I done gave her the whole lowdown on the thug life culture. And she representing now, okay? She thug life. You know, because whenever she see me, she say, how you living? I say, I'm thugging. You know, I'm thugging, right? And I tell her thug life till the world blow up. And she respected that because she understood after listening to the music and us having real deep conversations about Tupac's music. And she would get in my car and say, go on and play that song. I said, what song? You know, I'm a rider. You don't want to fuck with me. That was her favorite.
You know what? You mentioned that your mom was in meetings with Afeni Shakur. That would be early 70s. And I want you to expound on the national impact and international. Me and you spoke about the other day, the international impact that your mother had on our community. Please expound on that.
You know, there is only one Marion Stamps. There are many imitators of Marion Stamps. My mother was followed all throughout the world, okay? When she transitioned, we were sermoned by the late Winnie Mandela. She had never met my mother, but she followed my mother. She followed her work. And she just came to tell us how thankful she was to see a Black woman in America fighting for the empowerment of Black people. And she named us the 5 Black Pearls. So worldwide she was. And when she passed, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, and Suge Knight sent us the most beautiful flowers. I actually still have one of them to this day.
And see, when you speak about your mother in this sense, it really, I'm hoping people grasp who she was and how if you decide that you will no longer poverty, first and foremost, poverty is a state of mind. I don't
Mm.
even call people poor. I call us striving. That means I use that as a colloquialism to say, hey, we're not where we want to be, but we always on trying to get to what we want to be. And your mother wasn't a millionaire. Your mother wasn't the most. Well, she wasn't a celebrity. She was just a person who cared about her community. Cared about. She used her community as an extended family. And I want
Yep.
people to understand all you have to do is stop not participating and engage, and you too could be someone as impactful as your mother. Please expound.
You
Continue.
know, I walked away from social service
Mm-hmm.
and walked right into the lion's den.
Mm.
I was at juvenile detention center for 7.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And when I tell you I touched some lives the same way I touched those lives of those young people in that community, I got young people that I got a nurse, I got a doctor, I have a head chef at a private school, entrepreneurs, and these was the worst of the worst. One of my children, soon as he graduated from high school, landed a job in corporate America to run jewels down the street from where he lived. Okay, so I have a success record with the young people in the community.
Mm-hmm.
I leave that genre and I walk right into the Lions Den, Cook County Juvenile Detention Center.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Two young people really stand out with me. I didn't know you could go to jail at 9 years old. I had no idea. And it freaked me out. And
Mm-hmm.
remember, I'm walking in juvenile, I'm still angry because I'm a child. So, I got issues, and I will not tolerate no disrespectful. And his name, this resident, he was 9 years old. He kept cussing at me. And I said, little boy, stop cussing at me. I'm gonna take my belt off and I'm gonna whoop your ass, because that's what I know. I don't know nothing about, children being disrespectful. I got adults and they not gonna disrespect me. So he kept cussing. So I took my belt off and I whooped him. And he's like, I hate you. I hope you die. And I said, hey, when you get through, I need you to calm down because I got something to tell you. So he was like, F you. I said, don't cuss. But anyway, he finally calmed down because I kept saying, I need you to calm down because I got something to tell you. I said, I need to talk to you. So he calmed down. I said, you ready to talk to me? What you want? I said, I want you to know I love you, first of all. I need you to know that. I said, and I need to know why you in here. You 9. He's my mama. She be getting high, spending the food stamps. We ain't had nothing to eat, so I stole some bread and they gonna put me in jail. I said, man. He was like, I hate her. I said, you use that a lot. Stop saying that. I said, but you want to show your mama how pissed off you are at her? He was like, yeah. I said, be successful. Be better than her. Fast forward, I saw him about 10 years ago. He said, how many stamps? I said, hey, little baby, I didn't know who he was. I knew the face, but I didn't know his name. He said, Miss Stamps is me. And he told me his name. I'm like, oh, wow. He said, Miss Stamps, you remember what you told me? I said, what'd I tell you? You told me if I wanted to show my mama how pissed off I was to be successful. He said, Miss Stamps, I just graduated from college. He said, my sister and brother, my sister finna graduate from high school. My brother getting ready to graduate from 8th grade. And guess what he majored in? Engineering.
One can't get too many. You can't get enough black engineers.
You can't get enough. engineering. I'm in juvenile, the most hated staff by my co-workers, but they had no choice but to respect me. And the children loved and trusted me. There's a young lady, I didn't know you could be a prostitute and on heroin at 14. Had no idea. These two particulars, they'll come and get clean. They get stuck in there about 3 weeks, clean up, and they gone. Then they'll come back about a month later. They back in this one. When she finally came back, she was 16 and she was pregnant.
Oh, wow.
Go read to that baby. After you Miss Stamps, I can't stand you. Teach the baby the ABCs. I ain't doing nothing with this baby. It ain't gonna know no way. Rub the stomach, tell the baby you love it. Miss Stamps, I can't stand you. Shut up talking to me. You don't know nothing. You always talking. I seen her about 15 years ago. Miss Stamps, hey little baby, I'm on the bus. I ain't been on the bus in years. Hey, how you doing? Miss Stamps, you don't know who I am. I know your face, I think. It's me. Miss Stamps, this is my baby. Remember you kept telling me to read to the baby, count to the baby, tell the baby his colors. She said, even though I tell you, F you, I'm not doing this, blah, blah, blah. I did it every time. She said, not only is my baby smart, my baby healthy because she wasn't born on drugs. That ain't nothing but my mama. That ain't nothing but my mama. So we gonna fast forward to what the assignment is now.
Okay.
Let me just say this. My mama always told us I could have had the big house with the white picket fence, but that ain't where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be right here in the trenches with the people. What that mean? Why she would say some stuff and we would all be like, here she go with that black stuff. I moved to Rosen 4 years ago.
Okay.
I came in Rosen like, ew. Because, I had been on that north side, then I moved to East Humboldt Park, and I'm an empty nester, so I can act. I'm not bougie by no means, but I think I'm a little uppity. Just a tad bit. So I came to Rosen like this. Ew. I was sitting at home and in one of those moments that I often have where I spend time with Black Jesus and I listen to what the elders, the ancestors have to say. Some call it meditation, others call it whatever they call it. I just call it having a conversation with Black Jesus and the ancestors. Just, having a conversation, And my mother clearly said to me, just as clear as I'm sitting here talking to you, you need to get your fucking nose out the air and find your purpose. like, ouch, right? I've been over here in Rosen for 4 years. There's a school directly across the street from me that's been closed every bit of almost 20 years. I walked in the office with a proposal to get that school. I know what to do with the school. So my purpose for this very disadvantaged community, what they call it, disadvantaged, and what else they call it?
Underserved
and under-nurtured and all of that good stuff. Is to bring services, real services to the youth in this community. They don't even ride bikes over here. There's nothing over here for them. What with that school, with all of these other organizations saying that they out here fighting for the young people, or whatever you got, if we come together and collaborate, we could put it right there in that school. We can have an engineering program. We can have a construction program. We can have a music program. Everybody want to be a rapper. Well, let's rap. We're going to make our own music right here. We can have our own after-hours safety programs. It's a lot of things. I don't have to reinvent the wheel. All I do is oil it. And if I get the right support, and I'm gonna keep fighting for it until I get it. But they say, what, you know, part of my mission, not my mission, I don't have a mission, I have a purpose.
Amen.
I have a purpose. My purpose is to go downtown when the teenagers go down there and just touch them. I love you. If you give me a chance, I'll help make it better. And I bet you if I touch 10, by the time I get to that 10th one, they're going to hold my hand. Because my purpose is to build these young people. Not just educationally, but just to build them
spiritually, physically, mentally.
Yes, financially. Yes, that's my purpose. But I can't do it by myself. But I'm gonna start by myself, and it's okay if you come. If you don't, that's cool too, because we're gonna keep it moving.
And you know what? I'm glad you touched on this, because this is part of my mission as well. My purpose is this as well. Even my degree is in juvenile justice. I really care about the youth. Like, watch some of my programs, you'll even hear me say I use the youth as a metaphor. If the cake isn't the way it used to be, if the cake that you made isn't the way your mother made it and the way your grandmother made it, is it the ingredients or is it the chef? Pointing at these children and say they should know and what they should be doing and what's wrong with them. What we need to do is address what's wrong with the adults in the community.
Come on.
Am I saying that every adult in our community is doing wrong? No, I'm not. But what I am saying is the fact that we are putting too much onus on young people to fix themselves. You can't you know, if I and you know, even a cancer patient can't heal himself by himself. He needs the attention of a physician. Parents and adults in the community are the physicians. So I want to thank you and commend you for taking time out to even attempt to assume that responsibility. And what we have to do as a community in Chicago, whether you're in Roseland, whether you're in Chatham, whether you're in Auburn Gresham, whether you're in Beverly, whether you in Old Town, whether you're in K-Town, whether you're in the Holy City, wherever you are in the city, we must get behind people like you, because if we don't get behind you, we can no longer sit around and complain what's not happening.
And you know what? When I don't allow African Americans to talk about them kids. First of all, my mama taught me kids are goats. You don't call our children kids. Man, look at them. No, look at you. I don't allow anyone, especially that don't look like me, to talk about Black children. But I like for them to bring it up so I can eat them up. My children don't have the same resources that your children have. If we had some kind of, if y'all would stop if you wasn't so busy trying to take it from us, if these people who we elect wasn't so busy being greedy and taking it from us, we could do a whole lot with a little. I watch my mama do it. You don't get to say, man, them kids, man. No, what you gonna do about it?
Thank you.
What you gonna do about it? Because you know what? When my mama passed from 1996 to 2006, I played no games with none of those children on the north side of Chicago. It was kind of like they see Marion Stamps coming. And I took those children off of Cedric all the way over there to Larrabee to that Staten Park pool. Dig this here. I walked in the door. Hey, we ain't looking for no problems. We need to get in this pool at least once a week. It's hot outside. And I'm sure you all parents remember being able to come up down the street to our house with no problems, to Tranquility. Once Tranquility was gone, they still was right there with us on Division and Wells at Cycle. They was with us on Division and Hosted. We coming up in here. Never had a problem. We going down here to Lower North. Hey, I don't want no problems. To this day, a lot of them, they adults now. Them young brothers remember being able to go to Stanton Park with no static. Going to Lower North Center with no static. And if I catch any of y'all not participating, I want to know, why are you just hanging out and not over at Lower North because they got a program, or over here with me at the Stamps Youth Center, I got a program, Cycle got a program, the Miko Youth got a program, on and on. And can see them today. They'll be like, hey, Miss Stamps, thank you. Hey, they just started calling me Miss Stamps, but hey, Miss Guana, thank you. Purpose. Power, my mama taught me this, conceives of nothing without a demand. It don't take a lot of us. It just take enough of us.
Say it again.
It don't take a lot of us. It take enough of us. If you got a construction program, okay, come on, collaborate with me. You have an after school program. Come on, what your program do different from mine? Okay, well, mine, we don't learn how to play the drum. We're not doing that. I want them to learn how to play a harp. Non-traditional. Okay, you do your traditional stuff. That's cool. But I'm non-traditional. I want them to learn how to, part of the STEM. STEM is science, technology. What is it? Science, technology, engineering, and math. That's STEM. They need to be playing while they learning how to count. What is you talking about? They need to be jumping double dutch and counting at the same time. We need to play while we learn, because I know for a fact children learn best when they are in charge. And what are they in charge of? Playing. You young mothers, you know why my sons grew up in the 80s, never been to jail, never sold drugs, never gang bang, and to this day, nobody's baby's daddy. I don't need you to worry about peer pressure. I'm the pressure. You gotta walk up in here and sleep with me, and I'm gonna get you in your sleep on everything I love. I'm gonna get you. I said that to say, you young ladies that's having these babies, not young ladies, you young men and you young ladies that's having these babies, I'm gonna teach you how to be a parent, because the old school is the best school, but what I've learned is oil the wheel. Ain't nobody snatching you up. We gonna first try to have a conversation about it. The first thing you need to do is start loving yourself so you're able to love that child. So what, you got pregnant? So what, you had a baby? How much do you love yourself? Because if you love yourself at 16 being a parent, you're going to keep going to school so you can teach that baby something. If you love yourself, you going to go to school and you going to master whatever the program is that you involved in so that you can become an entrepreneur. I don't tell people go to school, get a degree, and go work for somebody. No, you go to school, get a degree, you master what they did, get your own. When you talk about self-love, you're not in the streets all night drinking and getting high and that baby at home and that pamper wet because they grandmama 40.
Or 30.
Or 30-something. I'm 61 years old. I ain't got no grandchild. I ain't mad no more either because I ain't going to act right with them no way. But it's a lot of babies in the village. It's enough babies in the village. I'm planning a pool party for some little ankle eaters. I don't even have none. It's called Rent a Child. I know some sisters with some babies that's gonna come over here and they gonna have fun at this pool party I'm having for some babies that, you know, why I'm in the village. It's about building. You know, I understand growth and development. It ain't about gangster disciple. It's much, much, much bigger. It's much bigger. I want some of that growth and development. So my mom used to say, your obituary would tell your life. I just like, damn, here she go with that black shit. What? But I often say, what your obituary gonna say, Miss Stamps? I go there. Purpose.
You know what? I want you to expound. You know, you mentioned the village and we mentioned the rearing of the children. I want you to expound on how important engaging politically is because, like you said, power is not going to exceed anything without a request or actually a demand. Let people know how important it is because, to me, one of the biggest oversights in our community is our lack of engagement politically, and then we make complaints about parties not participating in the development of our community. Please let people know because I know your sister's a commissioner. I drove past her office today, as a matter of fact. And I just want people to understand how important it is to engage with every party, not just a party.
This hush, little girl. This is what I'm gonna say. First and foremost, I would never make it as a politician because I am a revolutionary. Okay. However, it's important to know this is what's happening now. Our mayor knew where the power was. He knew where the numbers was at. And the numbers was in young people. But it's young people who have already been exposed and taught political science. Okay? They understand that there are laws and these laws are written for these reasons and where everything go. They also know the responsibilities of our politicians. What the city of Chicago sleep on is the young people that's looking at politics from all levels, from both sides. I ain't no Republican, I ain't no Democrat, I ain't no independent, I'm a voter. And I'm gonna vote my conscience, is what my mama said. Vote your conscience. And when it comes to politics, everybody want to count Brandon out, but they let Richard Daley and his daddy sit there and just totally destroy the city of Chicago. I said it. Who gonna check me? I'll wait. Destroyed it. We get Mayor Washington. We know what they did.
And you know what? Let me expound on for 1 second. Hold that thought. Let me expound on what you mean by the Dailies destroying the city of Chicago. Chicago is in a financial crisis currently, and it's falling at the feet of our current mayor, Brandon Johnson, a man who's doing his best. He's actually having a fight with one arm tied behind his back, whether you like him or not. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about what he was presented with. He was presented with a city that was running on a $50 million deficit annually, a city that the previous mayor literally wrote a $40 million check and waited to sign pieces of it for police brutality. And the mayor before that, Richard Daley II or Jr. or whatever you want to be identified as, who sold parking meters for 75 years. And anytime there's a festival in the city must pay the company that the parking meters are leased to the money that they would have made that day because of the festival being stopped. And this is what the mayor is being faced with. And yet and still our community leads the brigade on anti-Democrat, anti-Mayor Johnson conversation. That's what she means by the city was in ruins when he received it. Please continue.
Not only was it in ruins, again, it don't matter if you like them or not. I gotta get it. You know, I'm a very respectful person, and I give props where they do. Now, I don't support nobody. I support me. I support the people. However, I look at that young man. Do you know he only 2 years older than my oldest child? Speaks volume. And he stand on his square. That's why Mayor Lightfoot gone, because Too Short wasn't gonna get punked. But the people need to understand. He's sitting there. My mama always said, if you put him in there, you make him dance to your music. Jesse White, Walter Barnett, Ed Burt, George Dunn, Mike Mannequin, they didn't play with Marion Stamps. You hear me? And whenever she went to every last one of them about the people's business, it was never her business. It was the people's business. They danced to the beat of her drum because they already knew if they didn't, there would be consequences. And if the people would stop having anti-Johnson conversations and start having, we need to rally behind him and then corner him and say, dig this here. You are mayor. We your boss. We your boss. If you go give the Mexicans a piece of the pie, you better make sure we get a piece too. The migrants was here when he took office. I was anti-migrant till I seen them children, because my mama said there's two people in the world don't come with a color, children and elders. I was driving down the street and I seen them little Mexican babies and started crying. Why they gotta be sleeping on the streets? They didn't ask for their parents. They didn't ask to be in this world. They didn't ask to be at the border, put on a plane in California and on a bus and just dropped off like they're nobody, they're garbage. The children. And I started crying. What you gonna do? Because my mama said you operate out of solution. You deal with the problem. I filled my car up. I went to one of those well-to-do clients that I have as a chauffeur. I drive you around. I need a favor now. I had over 300 boxes of Pop-Tarts, any flavor you wanted. I had Pop-Tarts. I had granola bars, okay? And I went to each police station. I got the pictures. They hugging me. Them children didn't even speak English, talking about, thank you, I love you. Because the first thing I said to them, I love you. Then I went and got the well-to-do client, his F-450 or whatever it is, big old truck. He had me pallets of Pop-Tarts, granola bars, you name it. And I went to every single police station where they was at. I want the children. A lot of them didn't speak English. I want the children. Whoever spoke English, tell the children, get away from my car. These grown people. Them grown men, get away from my car. And I distributed, and it made me feel good. It wasn't about being recognized. I got to feel good about this. And it made me feel good because I seen some children. And children, you want to know about a person, take them around a dog or a child. They'll tell you everything you need to know. Them children got the hugging on me. When I go by there to see how they doing, they remembered me. I started going to different organizations to try to see where I get in, so where I fit in, so I could get in, so I could contribute as well as benefit. But you know, they want to hold things tight. I ain't got to fight you because what's for me is for me. And I know why I was doing it. When it comes to this political stuff, it's some smart young people out there. I question the leadership, but I'm going to trust the process.
And that's the thing. I noticed that a lot of people don't understand it's a process. For example, I'm driving today. I had to go pick up a couple of things. I had some business to take care of. I'm driving today on Madison, going west. The intersection of Holman and Madison, between Holman and St. Louis, going west, the street feels like you're driving on the moon. And the process is you go down to Walter Davis' office, you go to Walter Burnett's office, and you complain about that. People sit around and complain what's not happening. And as you stated, we don't have a solution-based mentality. We have a complaint-based mentality. And the complaint is just like a fire in the wind. It's gonna come and it's gonna go. Nobody cares about your complaint unless you, as you stated, come in, immobilize, and then come in forth and complain to the right people. There's no way for the last, at a minimum, this century. I ain't even gonna say last 30 years. I know for a unmitigated fact, the intersection of Holman and Madison, from Holman and Madison to Holman and St. Louis, or even further, it might even go as far as I'm gonna say St. Louis, has been horrible. And all people do is just continue to drive over. You know what they do? They do exactly what I did today. Veer over into the east lane until the ground and then get back. But I don't live there.
Right.
And you complaining that Johnson ain't doing it and Burnett ain't doing it and Davis ain't doing it and now LaShawn K. Ford ain't gonna do it. But you haven't asked them to do anything.
Stop. I've sat in a lot of rooms with my mama. Quit asking them to do it and demand that they do it.
Exactly.
Y'all could go down there. Well, I've heard. I haven't seen it. I've only heard these people they call turn Chicago red or something.
Mm-hmm.
Be down there at Cook County talking crazy to the commissioner of the first district.
Mm-hmm.
I don't live on the west side and I don't live in the first district, but this is what I know about the commissioner of the first district. Her last name is mine.
Hmm.
A politician is a politician is a politician. Don't matter what your last name is. When she was running for alderman, I made it real clear. Y'all getting ready to hire her if she wins. The first time y'all think she deviating from the agenda, I'm gonna be right there with y'all saying, no, Stamps, that ain't what you said.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have that
Ideology.
about something that literally belonged to me, what you think I feel about these other ones?
Exactly.
And then again, I don't live on the west side, so I can't say what she do or what she don't do. All I'm gonna say is her last name is mine. Stand down. And if you got a problem with what she doing, have a conversation. We hired you. This is what you need to be doing.
And see, the thing is about people that complain, they don't even know what they're complaining about. They just regurgitate things that other people have said.
That's it. Ain't involved. How involved are you in the community? I don't get. I don't get to go to City Hall and cut up on bill. Why?
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the community. I'm doing my share, but it ain't even my share. I'm not active. So what? I give out some bikes. So what? I'm still looking at these children doing absolutely nothing all summer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still looking at, why is you outside and it's 29 degrees? It's cold. Why is you outside? Cause ain't nothing going. Everything in the house ain't right. But if I had that school, we 24/7, 365, 7 days. You understand what I'm saying? And when I really get out there, like the ancestors are preparing me to, Bill, you can't tell me I can't have it. Why? And by then, I should have enough support from these other leaders. Why we can't have it?
We can't have it because we
I'm in contact with, even on a personal level. Before I retired, there's a chauffeur. I got so many cards from them other people. Miss Guana, when you ready, you understand me? Cause my mama said you can't get no quarter out of no nickel. Only thing I need my people to do is be the numbers to show them we mean business. I'm gonna find that quarter from you. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Everybody got a part to play. Play your part. Play your position.
Amen.
And that's where I'm at. When it come to Mayor Johnson, he's sitting there, stand down. Y'all just go have a bag him in the corner. Yo, shout it. Cause I'm different. I don't be talking, well, I don't talk like that. Only time I talk like that is some real money involved. My mama I used to know when my mama was going to war and when she was going to get some real money. I know how to do that too. We at war. We at war. And we fighting for our survival. We fighting for our lives. It hurts me. Them children go downtown. But they go downtown. One, I heard they getting paid. I don't know. I just heard that. But they really go because they don't have nowhere else to go and they ain't got nothing else to do. But I ain't got a problem with them going downtown. I want you downtown. I just don't want you downtown keep misrepresenting me.
Mm-hmm.
You're misrepresenting me when a 15-year-old boy loses his life. Why do you freaking have that gun and you know ain't nothing but black children down there? Make it make sense.
Mm-hmm.
I want them downtown. Because see, when we was going downtown, me and them children from Cabrini Green and from Town and Gardens, because I don't know Marshall Fields.
Yeah, I don't know Marshall Fields.
I don't know that. We was all on Michigan Avenue taking pictures of the cows.
Mm-hmm.
You heard me.
Mm-hmm.
We was all up. We was down there at Buckingham Fountain. They posing and you could touch that water. Anybody say something to you? I'm right here. You ain't gotta say nothing. I got you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We would be downtown looking at the buildings because I even to this day am amazed at the skyscrapers. Wow, that's ooh, man, that look fire. You know what I'm saying? We went downtown. But we were not downtown self-destructing.
Exactly.
Those cops want to kill y'all.
And you giving them a reason.
And you're giving them a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Because they going to protect theirs. Come on back. Come on. Give us those resources so we can make our state-of-the-art youth center. We don't want to go downtown. We going over there with Miss Stamps.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I talk to young people, that's what I got to talk to them about. If I had a state-of-the-art music room where you could make your own CD, would you come?
Most definitely.
Wait a minute. I'm talking to, I literally had this conversation on 79th Street with them young brothers that pass out their CDs. They say, yes, I would. It breaks my heart to get off at 99th and Halsted, the new age prostitution. Follow me. 95th and Halsted. Soon as the sun come out, you had those little girls jumping in front of them cars, popping and locking and gyrating, and then they run up to the car so they could put put some money in the bucket. I watched them take it to a nigga. Oh, this is modern day pimping. When I do get involved, all I need is 5 brothers to go with me to check this nigga and tell him. But see, I got it. You can't solve the problem without a solution. I can't go over there getting in they mix and I don't have nothing else better for them.
All from right.
I got that school. We pay a stipend. I ain't paying you to come be with me, but I'm paying you for your time so I know where you're at, what you're doing, and I'm giving a service. That's all I got, brother.
We got to talk because what you just did is touched on the idea that I have, and I have someone in my life that's pushing me towards that. So, as a matter of fact, just hold on. I'm gonna end the program and I'm gonna talk to you about that. I want to thank you again, man. I really appreciate you sharing your time, sharing your story, sharing your mother, sharing things that we can and must do. It is a pleasure talking to you. And if you know anybody else that want to talk, let them know I'm here. I will be here. I'm gonna continue to be here. And thank you again. Thank you. It's a sister of the Soul Coast, sister Lord North Side. Thank you, sister of Cedric Street, Chicago Avenue Division, North Avenue, Larrabee, Halsted, Wheeling, and every other street in between. Thank you. Thank you everybody for tapping in. Hit that like, hit that share.
Thank you everybody for listening.
I really appreciate you. Give me a couple seconds. I'm in this, and then we will. When you see me again, we can talk, because I want to talk to you about what you just said. All right. Okay. Thank you. Have a good evening, everybody.
Stop name calling one another. Stop cursing one another. Stop gossiping about one another. Stop squabbling with one another. Stop being discourteous and disrespectful to one another. Stop fighting one another. Stop killing one another. Stop using and selling drugs to one another. Stop throwing down trash where black people have to live, work, and play. Did I say stop stealing, stop robbing? Now, as I said, the pressure of the white supremacy dynamic that forces black people to think negatively about themselves and set up negative environmental conditions will produce these negative behaviors. You see, but that's just like somebody putting you in check from the other side of the board. So you have to learn the tactics and strategies, the behavioral tactics and strategies, do you see, that will stop that from happening. So you're constantly on the offensive and the defense about preserving or evolving and developing a very positive image and concept of self.